Hello and welcome to Nova Gnome Creations Crochet Grinch Applique tutorial. We're going to be working on part 1, which is the applique. For this you will need scissors, a hook, a yarn needle, and some yarn. Jumping right into it, we are going to make a magic circle, and I will show you how to do it briefly. If you need extra help with how to make a magic circle, I will have linked in the description box how to make a magic circle tutorial, where I go over it nice and slowly for you if you need help. Once you've got that magic circle on there, you can pull the tail out of the middle and go ahead and chain 3. After we chain 3, we're going to work into the magic circle in the middle. We're going to start with a triple crochet, which is like a double crochet, but you go around your hook twice. And then you go over and pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again. Then we're going to do a chain 1, and this is going to be a picot stitch. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to go into the top of our triple crochet, and we're going to slip stitch, and we're going to do another triple crochet, and we're going to do another picot. This one will be a chain 2 for our picot this time, and I will show you a little bit more closely where exactly you're going into. So chain 2, and then I will show you exactly where the top of your triple crochet is that you're going to go into when you're doing these picots. So it's right here at the top, this kind of front side almost. Right, put your hook right through there and yarn over and pull through, and then just continue through into a slip stitch. Okay, and we're going to do one more triple crochet, and then we're going to do a chain 3 picot. So yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's our triple crochet. And then we're going to chain 1, 2, and 3, and then back into the top of that triple crochet to finish off our picot stitch. Now we're just going to go ahead and we are going to work 3 double crochets into our magic circle. Nothing at the top, no picots on these ones. So there is 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets, and then 1 more to make 3 double crochets. Then we're just going to work a chain 1, and we're not slip stitching or anything, just a normal chain 1. And then we're going to do a triple crochet, and this is going to form the point of the chin for our Grinch face. So after you do that triple crochet, go ahead and chain 1 again. And then we are going to work 3 more double crochets. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. Then we're going to do the same thing we did on the other side, just in the reverse order this time. So we're going to do a triple crochet with a chain 1 picot, so there's our chain 1, and then going into the top of that triple crochet, and then we're going to do another triple crochet, this time with a chain 2 picot. So there's a chain 2, and into the top of that triple crochet we go ahead and slip stitch, and then we do a triple crochet with a chain 3 picot. So go ahead and yarn over there twice, pull through, pull up a loop, go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. There's our triple crochet, and then we're going to chain 3, Slip stitch through the top of that triple crochet, and that makes our picot. And this is going to make the tufts for the Grinch's cheeks. Now we're going to go ahead and chain 2, and then we're going to slip stitch into the magic circle in the middle. All right, and then after we slip stitch into the middle, we can go ahead and pull on that center or on that tail from our magic circle a little bit, but don't close it yet. All right, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to place 3 double crochets into the center, into that magic circle. And this is going to be the last of what we're placing into that magic circle. And there we go. So you should have 3 double crochets plus your chain 3 right there into that center. And now you can go ahead and grab that tail from the back where our magic circle tail is, and you can go ahead and give that a nice solid tug and close up that middle. And make sure you give it a real good tug, like really cinch it up. And there we go. So our Grinch face is really starting to form now. And my hook came out, so I'm just going to put it back in. If yours did, then you can put it back in as well. And then we are going to slip stitch to the left. So kind of watch my placement here. Just kind of into the left side of the face over there. And then we're going to go ahead and chain 3. And we're going to turn our work. All right, and that makes it so that we can go ahead and double crochet across in all 4 of those stitches. So now that we turned our work, we'll just go ahead and double crochet into each stitch. There's 2 double crochets, then here's 3, and then 4. And then after that 4th double crochet, we are going to place 1 more double crochet into the right side of the face. So similar to how we slip stitched on to the left cheek, which is, this is now the left since we turned our work. We're going to go ahead and work 1 more double crochet right kind of into that cheek side over there. Just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and we will go ahead and cut our yarn. And that chain 1 is just to basically give us a little knot at the end, because we're going to pull our hook up like that. And now it is all nice and secure. And you can use that tail to weave in, and, you know, if you want to like close any little gaps or anything, now would be a good time to do that. That last double crochet is like a little bit gapped away, so I just like to run my tail through there to kind of secure it to the one next to it a little bit and make it just a little bit less of a little gap. And if you want your tail to be nice and long so that you can crochet this to something, you can just weave it in a little bit and leave the rest of it for later sewing. Or you can weave it all the way in and get rid of it. That's totally up to you. But here is the base of our Grinch face. We've got his head, we've got his chin and his tufty little cheeks. And I am just taking my time here real quick to weave in my tails. And basically for that, I'm just working on the back side of my applique and catching parts of the fabric or parts of the yarn and weaving in my tail. And there we go. And moving right along, we're going to go ahead and start on our Grinch's hat. And we're going to do that by making a slip knot and chaining 6. And once we have our 6 chained, we're going to go ahead and chain an additional 2, and then we are going to turn our work. So those 2 are what's called a turn chain. And what that means is we will skip those 2 chains and go right into the 3rd chain from our hook and start our double crochets there, because those 2 chains are there to give us the height that we want, kind of serving as another double crochet. So after you work those double crochets in each of your chains across, we are just going to repeat the same thing again. So when we get to the end of our chain, we're going to chain 2 again and turn our work again. So go ahead and finish off your double crochets, and then you can chain 2 and turn your work. It'll look a little something like this. And then we are just going to do the same thing. Go ahead and double crochet in the top of each of those double crochets, and just ignore the chain 2 that you did. That's just there to give you the height that you need. And we are not skipping any of our double crochets, so even that first one, you're going to double crochet into the top of it. And then once you work your way down to the end of this row, we are going to chain 2 again and turn our work. So finish up those double crochets and chain 2, and then go ahead and turn your work. And now we're going to do some double crochet decreases. So we're going to yarn over and go through the first stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through 2. But instead of finishing it, we're going to yarn over and go through the next one, pull up a loop, and pull through 2. And then yarn over and pull through all 3. So basically you're doing the first half of a double crochet, but then going straight into the next one and doing the first half again. And this is making it so you are decreasing, because you'll notice the top of your stitches, you're turning 2 double crochets into 1. So just yarn over and go through, pull up a loop, go through 2, and then instead of finishing your double crochet, just yarn over, go right through the next one, pull up a loop, and go through 2 again. And then you'll just go through all 3, and that is how you do a double crochet decrease. So for the next round, we're just going to chain 2 again and turn our work. And we're going to do 1 more double crochet decrease. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet in our last stitch. All right, and then we will go ahead and we will chain 2. And then we're just going to work 1 final double crochet decrease after we turn our work. All right, and then we were just going to chain 1, and we can go ahead and cut our yarn. And that is going to be the shape of our hat. So you can go ahead and pull on your crochet hook now to pull that yarn back through, and boom, it's nice and secured. And we have our basic hat shape. And now we're going to switch to white, and we are going to throw a nice and simple brim onto our hat. So go ahead and grab your white, flip your hat upside down, and put your crochet hook through the first stitch and pull some yarn through. we're just gonna do a quick little attachment with a slip stitch. And then I like to knot my previous piece of yarn with my new working yarn. This is optional. It's up to you if you prefer to do this, but I like to make a little knot. And then I will work over my tails so that I don't have to sew them in. And that is also completely up to you. I know some people prefer to sew them in. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. For this one, I am going to work over my tails. So I'm going to grab the white tail that I have for just now attaching on, and I'm going to grab that red tail that I have from tying off. And I am just going to be working some single crochets. So I went ahead and chained one, and then I'm just going to single crochet in each stitch across, which will be 6 single crochets. And I'm just going to work over those 2 tails, and as I go, I will pull on them, give them like a nice little solid pull to keep them nice and pulled tightly coming through so that they're not, you know, tufting out in between my stitches or anything. And this is just going to give us a nice little white brim on the bottom of our hat. And once you have those 6 single crochets, we're just going to go ahead and chain one and cut our yarn, and we're done with our hat. Or with the brim of our hat. And I'm going to go ahead and cut those tails that I worked over. Just the little ends, and then I am going to work my last single crochet. I like to do it that way so that you don't see the little tail ends sticking out at the end of it, so I usually cut them before I'm going to end my row, but then they've got enough worked under that I'm not, you know, worried about them coming out. So there we go, and then I'm just going to do that chain one and cut my yarn, and that chain one, like before, it's just there to form a little knot at the end. I like to do that just so it's a little bit more secure, and then you can weave in that tail. And I have a hair stuck to it. But there you go. So we've got the brim and the body of the hat worked up. So if you want to, you can go ahead and weave in your tail at this point. I'm going to go ahead and weave in mine. I like to weave in my tails as I go just because it is a little bit less tedious at the end weaving in all of the tails. Plus the tails kind of get in the way. So I'm just going to go through those stitches that I just made and pull it nice and tight, but don't pull so tight that you like try pulling your other corner through or anything, because it is attached to, you know, that row too. And then I'm just going to go back through, making sure not to go right back through, or I would just pull it out, but I kind of go into the stitches on the other side a little bit and pull through again. And that's just how I wove mine in. You can weave yours in however you like to, and I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the little bit of tail that's left. And then I am going to move on to making the pom-pom or puffball type part. So to make the little pom-pom for our hat, we're just going to make a magic circle again. And don't forget, you can always slow down parts of the video with the little gear icon. It has a playback speed function, or if you need extra help with your magic circle, then you can use that tutorial linked in the description box. And I'm just going to put 6 single crochets into the magic circle. And when you work in a magic circle, you work over the tail and the circle at the same time. And this is a super simple pom-pom. That's literally all we're going to do is put 6 single crochets in here. And then we're just going to close it up and slip stitch back to our first stitch. So I've got my 6 single crochets. I'm going to pull on this, but I'm not going to pull it super tight yet because I want to slip stitch into the first stitch first. Just because it can be a little hard to slip stitch into that first stitch after you have pulled your magic circle completely tight. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it like a really solid tug and close up that circle nice and tight. I'm going to chain 1 and then I will cut my yarn. And that's it, guys. That is like the most simple pom-pom ever. Pull your hook up and that'll give you that little knot there. And then you can use these tails to attach it to the top of your hat. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my yarn needle and put my tail through my yarn needle. And you can use the tail from the magic circle, or you can use the tail from the end. Just depends on how you want to attach your pom. But you can go ahead and sew it to the tip of the hat. I'm using the edge tail right now, and kind of using that edge that it came from to attach it right there. And I just went through the top of the hat where I wanted it to start, and then I'm going to put my needle back through the pom-pom. And then I will put it back through the hat. So just use, your preferred way of sewing things on, but showing you how I'm doing mine, just in case you're curious. So basically just alternating going through one and then through the other until I'm happy with the attachment. And bear in mind, with how it's looking, that if you want to fold your hat over, then you're going to want the back to look good too. For most of the applique, the back doesn't matter at all. But for this part, if you want to fold the top of your hat over, the back of the applique will actually be what shows for the connection area of your pom-pom. So just a little note of something to keep in mind when you're attaching it. So now that I'm happy with that, I'm actually just going to knot my two tails together. I gave it a nice little tight knot, and then I'm putting a second knot in for a little double knot. And that's what it looks like. So you can choose now whether you're going to want to fold it over like this, or if you're going to want to have it stand. You can also pick which side of the hat you want to face up. The hat does have a shape to it where it leans to one side, which is purposeful. So you can kind of pick the style, like which direction you want it to go. So here's it facing two different ways. I have one finished already where I faced it with the hat folding over towards the left. And then this is what it would look like if we put it where the hat faces towards the right. You could put it at like a little angle, or you can put it on straight. You can leave it up. You can fold it over. It's pretty customizable. So decide how you're going to want yours, and you are done with this step. If you would like to do the face the way that I did my face, you are now ready for part 2 of the tutorial, and I will link that in the description below.